It is the Charles Adler Senate appointment. I think I might let you run with this, Sheila, because I want to give full disclosure. A decade ago, folks, I used to be on Charles Adler's radio show. It was the last hour of every Friday. He told me himself it was the highest rated day of the show.
I believe
we
it.
mostly played it for laughs. I was kind of a character, that the audience loved to hate, a wrestling heel, if you will. And I had nothing but fun on it. And then, of course, at the same time, Charles Adler back then had his show on the Sun News Network, and I was a frequent guest on that show. So my memories of Charles Adler, they're all positive. And I'll tell you, Sheila, I can see why people are angry. For me, I should be angry, but I think the feeling I'm experiencing is heartbreak. Especially for the reasons behind his political 180 and his Senate appointment. I think, most people are saying this had nothing more to do than just follow the money. And gee, if that is the case, and I don't know, but if that is the case, wow, the things people will do for money, Sheila Gunn Reid. Again, I'd like to pretend I'm more than a decade ago in a happy place with Charles Adler when the world was a little more normal, when we had a great rapport.
Holy, we have sucked the life out of Ezra Levant. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, have we ever? But, I don't know, to be quite frank, if I haven't been in communication with Charles for more than a decade. I don't know if he'd take my call now. I don't know if he would. Pardon me?
For sure he wouldn't. Now, in fairness, he has not taken a run up at us. But he has cozied up to all of the people who do. You explained who Charles Adler was. Longtime radio host. Then went. I love it when they list his accomplishments. They do not list the Sun News Network.
That's staggering.
Fun. I love it. It's like that part of his life didn't even exist.
Wow.
So Charles Adler was somebody who called for the abolition of the Senate. If you go into actually Ezra had some great tweets on it. He called it a barn that needed to be burned down. I think he called it a sewer, wasteful. And then get this, then he makes this progressive morphing. And he's had a bit of a runway to his Senate appointment. Because I think you can go back to about 2020 is when, like during COVID, he sort of was vicious against the unvaxxed and people who were against lockdown restrictions. And then vicious against the truckers. What did he call it? An orgy of knuckleheads. If you look on my Twitter, I went back and found his convoy tweets. He's been very critical of Tamara Leach. Like he saw where the money was going, right? It's like almost, I think it was 2019 when Justin Trudeau decided it was time to fund the media. And that's when he made the switch. Instead of being one of those layoffs at Chorus, he decided to make the switch. Excuse me. And then by 2020, he started to fully become ingratiated into all the liberal ideas and ideology. Hate the truckers. He said the convoy was about disabling democracy to boost white supremacy. I forget what else. Oh, he said it was basically an AstroTurf protest of 1,000-acre grain farmers.
Don't forget, it's about disabling democracy in the name of white supremacy. Can you imagine?
Yeah. We just showed that. It was a hot tub party, 1,000-acre grain producers. He also, my favorite, I tweeted it this morning because it has just been a real game for me lately to go into Charles Adler's X account, then search by keyword like CBC. Or state broadcaster, then go to his earlier tweets and his later tweets. He has routinely called it the state broadcaster, until all of a sudden he's decided you're an idiot if you call it the state broadcaster. he was critical of Andrew Scheer, called it the state broadcaster, and he's like, basically, how dare you call it the state broadcaster? But that's what, state broadcaster, could you be any more of an amateur? You're like a guy with a radio show where most of his listeners are Gophers and Bulls. You mean like you? Like you? Like self-awareness much? So, but he has taken a Senate appointment at an institution that he said should be abolished. Why? $178,000 a year will do that for a guy for life. And he applied. By the way, I should point out, this sewer and barn that should be burned down, he applied to the Senate independent Trudeau-appointed review panel. He applied to them. He wanted this.
Well, Sheila, this I kind of supports the idea that this is all being done for a paycheck. Sun News Network, gone. I'm not sure what was behind Charles Adler losing his chorus gig. And there's a company in trouble too, Sheila. Just last week, they're I think it's 87 years old. The Hamilton AM station just abruptly went off the air at midnight. And there's really, I think, with some exceptions, such as Rebel News, very few places a journalist or a broadcaster can go that has a right of center bent, if you will. So they saw the landscape change, and it's not just Charles Adler. I mean, we have a clip coming up. It's a video of Dean Blundell. Oh, I'll remember Charles Adler fondly, because I'm pretending, folks, this is a reboot, again, of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. By the way, the definitive version is 1978, right?